hockey. Yeah.
My favorite.
It's Judd's Hockey Show.
All right, it is Judd's Hockey Show. It's the Wednesday edition, which means it's Judd. It's Jessi Pierce, of course, from Bar Down Beauties, which if you're not listening, I have only one question. Why aren't you? It's a great show. Also, Jessi does a great job covering the Wild for NHL.com, always asking the questions at the press conference. You hear her voice a ton. AJ Fredrickson, as always, also co-hosting. And Jessi, welcome. This is your first episode on the new Judd's Hockey Show YouTube channel. So
Woo!
Say hi.
Hi, look at that. Big subscriber, big fan.
Like
Love
and subscribe, right? Uh-huh.
Yes.
Tell those people.
There you
like
go.
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. It's a simple thing to do. We love it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. All right, so let's get to the state of the Wild currently, because since January the 1st, they are now 2-2-2. The regression that they've shown is not surprising. Like they were not going to continue to play at the height that they were playing at for quite some time, just like they weren't going to continue, I guess, in retrospect, to play like they did during their 3-6-3 October. But Jessi, what I want to get your opinion on is this. AJ and I did an episode yesterday and talked a lot about it, but I'd love for you to chime in. And that is Eriksson Ek's been gone for 2 games now. And with him gone, it just struck us both, and we talked about this, how much it appears that if the Wild is, and they need to make a trade before the deadline, that the talk about a winger and a guy that can score is great, but it just looks more and more imperative in our view that it has to be a center. Because Ek does get hurt, and you see the gap there now. Your thoughts on that semi-hot take, considering it's only 2 games, but I think it's a pretty compelling case in 2 games.
Yeah, I'd agree, because I was on the team of, get me a winger. Get me somebody that can score, right? Like, I wasn't necessarily hell-bent on needing that center, because as great as that sounds, I was like, well, I'd be okay with a top 6 winger. I have changed my tune. When you see Nico Sturm have to go out there just for the draw because you're that desperate to pile on down and then get him off the ice so you can get somebody else out there for overtime, for instance, like we saw a few games ago, it's glaring at this point. Danila Yurov has come a long, long way, and I'm feeling more and more comfortable with him at that center position. But he's not Ek, right? And not even that Ek is that number 1 center guy. I think he's a very good 2C. But missing him these past few games, it's definitely more imperative that center's where you need it. You need a guy that's going to win those faceoffs in those crucial moments, in those overtimes, on that power play, on that PK, whatever it may be, in all scenarios on the ice. You need somebody that you trust as much as you trust Joel Eriksson Ek, and that can make those impacts. And that's going to go to the net front. Again, Danila, I think, has done a very nice job at causing that havoc, wreaking that havoc, causing that chaos too down there like Ek does. But he's still learning, and he's still young, and he doesn't really have Ek size. So you need somebody more like Ek, maybe a step up, minimally, to get you through what will be a good playoff run for him if they have that piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just where my thinking was too. It's just it becomes so glaringly obvious, and when we talk about, I saw a couple comments about this on the other show that we did where we brought up like Nico Sturm. He's the face-off wizard right now, and it's not even that great, frankly. He's at a 52.8 percentage for the season, which, for this team, that is fantastic. I'll take that every time. The only guy who has taken a chunk of face-offs more than him, who actually has a better face-off percentage, is Ben Jones. Ben Jones is like 54.8% right now. That being said, I don't want Ben Jones going out there for overtime to take a face-off and then skating off right away and doing the old Mikko Koivu, where it's like you're here just for that one role. In an ideal world, frankly, when healthy, Ben Jones isn't even on the ice, but it just makes it difficult, because I think if we're coming to this realization, so are the people in the hockey operations for all of these teams, especially, I would think, the Wild's front office. And so that puts when Bill Guerin, that caller ID pops up on the cell phone, okay, he's going to be wanting a center. He needs a center. What can we get out of the price tag for him here? And for a team that doesn't have, the war chest potentially that other teams might do due to past moves, And especially with guys that have no moves and no trades, it kind of limits the options for what you would have to do to clear cap for anybody that's actually of a substantial AAV. So it does create a little bit of a give and pull of what can they do, how willing are people to do it, but we'll have to see. There's a lot of time, because will they even make a move before the Olympic break? I doubt it.
And do you think you circle? I mean, Calgary will not take any of Kadri's salary on, right?
Mm-mm.
Like in a trade, they are not going to retain anything, because that's also the biggest knock I have against going for a guy like Kadri, who is a good center. I would consider that a nice addition up the middle if you were to get him. Not that I'm dying or clamoring for it, but yeah, that it's the AAV on him, which is at 7, I think.
Yep,
Not,
7 for another 3 years after this.
yeah.
But that's
So.
the thing is, like, that to me is the most difficult part of this discussion is, like, where do you draw the line now, too? Because you're trying to win a Stanley Cup. So if you think that this player can help you win a cup, do you say, well, no, that's irresponsible? Or do you say, no, we traded for Quinn Hughes. We want to prove to Quinn Hughes that he should want to stay here, because, that's not... He's not going to say now, well, yeah, I'm not thrilled here. So, like,
I mean, losing to your brother again is not going to feel
Yeah.
great, right?
No, that
Like,
was, and we
that
can talk
was a
about that
bad-
game. That
it was bad.
That was not good. I mean, Jersey was playing some brutal hockey, and actually, absolutely
Coming off a back-to-back, too. Like,
steamrolled. I know.
I had feelings. But I've been good. I've been nice about the losses, because I respect. It's going to happen. You're not going to win every game. The schedule's crazy. It's tough. That loss to New Jersey was borderline unacceptable. Jacob Markstrom is a terrible goaltender this year. Even people on their own organization would be like, yeah, I'm surprised he made the Olympic team, because he's an awful goalie. And not that it mattered, because you weren't getting pucks even anywhere in his vicinity. But I digress.
So is that one of those games though? Like, I look, if they have a stretch of games like that, I'll jump on them, no question about it. But is that one of those games? I will say this. And I think, Jessi, I think we might have brought this up to you. I forget if it was on the show or in the press box, but the end of that road trip, you did start to see some warts. Like you started to see some schematic warts. I felt like they were getting a little bit off of what makes them successful, which, they've got a couple of great players, but the reality is a lot of that team has to play a certain structure. And the end of the long road trip, I thought the structure was starting to break down just a little bit. And then against the Islanders, you saw the same sort of things, but those were very small. I felt like Monday against the Devils was like, oh, okay, now we've got problems. My question is, was that a one-off, or is that something to be concerned about? Because there's a lot of guys on that team who think if they're good, we got problems.
Yeah, it has to be a one-off. You have to come back and beat Winnipeg, and kind of no mercy Winnipeg too at this point. Because New Jersey, despite that skid, which was a bad skid, getting outscored 20-5 in those 4 losses that they had straight, is a good team, right? Like, I don't think anybody would argue. Like, Nico Hischier, I would die for. I would pay anything to
We
have
don't want you to
a
die.
guy like You're right.
If
You
you wouldn't
need me.
join the show, then
You need me. This is true.
and
I would
then
fight.
Bar Down Beauties would be in trouble.
It's a lot of problems we would have.
Yeah, we don't want you to
on
die.
Score
So,
North.
like, just
maybe like
you
just
know.
like a toe. I'll give like a toe.
I was gonna say, how about
Yeah,
it?
like a toe seems fair. But you know what I mean? Like, they've got players
Yeah.
like him, obviously Jack Hughes, and up and down the roster, aside from goaltending, in my opinion. But it's just so bad. It's just so bad. He's not good.
And it did look bad. Like, that was a really bad game.
It was like
Third
there
period was awful, I should say.
And New Jersey's got the jump, and they're quick, and they were fast paced and everything, and they took advantage. But it was the details that John Hines will stress in every single press conference to us. Anytime we ask him what's going right, wrong, or indifferent, he's focused on the details. Those details were completely absent in that New Jersey loss. Like, there was just kind of breakdowns, it felt, in the defensive zone that we haven't seen in a very long time. Like, one of Palat's goals, where there's 4 Minnesota Wild players just staring aimlessly. Like, they have no idea he's there wide open with the puck for an easy put in. Like, it just made no sense to me. So it's just a matter, I think, of refocusing. They have today off again. They did not practice yesterday either. So you're hoping those 2 days completely just reset them. Because it's one bad loss. It's not, they have a big enough lead to the playoffs are secured. Everything's fine there. But I need them to come back with a little just more care and more pep in their step against the Winnipeg Jets, especially to salvage this homestand too and get a victory for the home crowd that's been showing up every night now.
And that's where Ek, though, like the weirdest thing about Eriksson Ek is he is incredibly valuable, but putting an exact is quantification the right word on his value is so difficult because like he's clearly not the best player. You've got Quinn Hughes, you've got Kirill Kaprizov, but when he's not there, they are missing such a key part. And so like that's where I come back to this 2-game absence to me. It's just like okay, you might have some problems with him playing, but for the most part, you can get past them. But then when he's not there, it's like, oh my God, this is actually a huge problem, which is where it's that weird discussion of forget how good he might be. It's almost like just how important is he to this team, and he is one of the most important players. He might be above Kaprizov at times as far as being one of the most important players to actually being on the ice because of the multitude of things he brings.
And right now, given the information, or I guess lack thereof, that we have about his current injury, if they know behind the scenes he might be out a little bit longer, I would have loved either today or yesterday just getting out on the ice for a little bit of a light recalibration of the power play. You don't have him there being that bumper position in the middle, and not that Ryan Hartman probably can't step in and do the role. I mean, they've been playing together all season. He knows the system already, but it's not like the power play was what it was when it started the season, where it's you were scoring 5 out of 6 times, and then you reset the table. It's definitely been a little bit of lackadaisical. The power play goal they had the other night, the unit was I think Yakov Trenyan, Ben Jones, and Marcus Foligno for the 3 forwards with Jonas Brodin and Vinny Hinostroza at the point. Yeah. That is not a power play unit to be proud of. Like, and granted, that was garbage time. I think there was 17 seconds left or whatever.
They scored.
They scored, but they scored. That's the thing. They scored. Yeah. The actual talented guys who are going out there when the game is on the line and they need a goal, they're not doing that as much as they used to be. So I would have loved to just have a little bit of a let's tweak the system, let's work on some things. Ryan Hartman and Joel Eriksson Ek are not the same stature. They're not the same player. So I feel like there's probably some fine-tuning you could have done today or yesterday, but I guess they feel differently, which is why they're doing that job.
And now, to be fair, there's probably a handful of guys that are getting on the ice if they want to, and they're just telling media that we're not doing anything official, anything formal, yada, yada. So, and especially a guy like Ecker and probably Bogosian, too. They're probably getting on the ice, prepping and testing and seeing, because both did skate for morning skate ahead of New Jersey too, feeling it out, and Ek came off and looked fine. Didn't seem to be in any pain, so that's at least advantageous to return for him. But yeah, that's a good point.
So he is what's your best guess about his return? I mean, I'm guessing it's not Thursday night against the Jets, but like, do you think it's the road trip?
But maybe it is Thursday, because he didn't look 100% in the morning skate, but it wasn't, again, nothing that was overly concerning. The fact that he even participated in skate is a positive, right? Like John Hines will tell us, well, that's the next step, and he's back with the group. So part of me feels like and it's not a desperate need to win situation, but you kind of really want to win that one, right? So
right. To me, what it is it's not, yes, because I mean, if you look at the points, they are very solidly in third place. Like there's I think a multi-point, a double-digit point difference between the potential first.
Like 15
between the wild card and 3. So I think they're fine there. But to me, what this is again, to go back to the top of the show, it's an eye opener of exactly what you are risking. And in some ways, it's instructive and helpful because Joel Eriksson Ek plays a game where he gets hurt. Like he just does. And I don't think, in this case, I don't think he's injury prone. I think he's tough as nails. He just gets hurt. So I guess I'm not saying, well, he has to play on Thursday. I'm saying you just got a glimpse into, if you want to compete, you got to get a center. The only good thing is, I will say this. If you look at the standings now and read the reports, we are starting to get separation. Like the teams that that should trade are becoming very, very clear. In the West, I've got Calgary, the Blues, the Jets, obviously the Canucks, who you traded with. In the East, the Rangers for sure. The Rangers need to make trades. Like, you just get out while the getting's good. Ottawa potentially. Columbus. We'll get to your guy. We'll talk about this. They just fired your guy Dino, who I'm sure will join the Bar Down Beauties in no time at all to explain exactly what went wrong.
They didn't trade for Quinn Hughes when he was there.
Didn't trade for Quinn Hughes.
But there's two things about this. So I've seen reports in the past couple of days that Blues GM Doug Armstrong has basically, he's either privately or publicly said, but it got reported, we ain't beating Colorado, so we're gonna make we're not gonna try to get the last wild card, which I actually love this mentality. So we're going to be making trades. And then I saw a report out of Nashville. So the Preds are only 2 points out of a wild card spot. That Barry Trotz basically said everyone who was available still is. So, and again, the prices will be high, but I think it's good news that we're starting to see some separation here of, okay, we're starting to get teams that are going to make trades. And this still keeps, in the case of the Predators, you guys, my guy, Ryan O'Reilly, is still out there. So I guess with where the Wild is at, I'm thinking, yeah, the price is going to be really high and there probably will be a tax. But there is no time like the present. I think you're going to regret it more if you don't make a substantial trade than if you say, we're going to be responsible. I think you say, no, you know what? We are all in. We are all in to try to win a cup.
I mean, that's again going all the way back to Quinn Hughes signing. You don't go out and sign Quinn Hughes and give away what you did to just be like, oh, we're going to get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the statement that makes. And Bill Guerin knows that, and other teams recognize that too, right? Like, you get Quinn Hughes, it's all in. Everything is there. You are going to do whatever it takes to get to that next level. So I feel.
Come on, Jessi, say it.
What? Say
pull
what?
The trigger. Pull the trigger on what you got to do. Ryan O'Reilly, get him here.
You don't even. I mean, you call on everybody. You really do.
You call, but you could. But
Yeah.
You want to pull the trigger on Ryan O'Reilly?
I want to consummate a trade for a center. Unless you like, if you now tell me, well, I don't know, like we've seen ourselves without Eriksson Ek, I don't know if we can win this. I'm out on you.
What about Vincent Trocheck? That's the name that keeps getting tossed out too.
Intrigues me for sure.
I was just looking at that too. The past 2 years, like it hasn't been a great situation there, and this year he's making the most out of the time that he's getting on the ice. He wins faceoffs, and frankly, we're gonna get a pretty good look at him Olympics wise, Team USA. So it's for as much as the joking legal tampering that Bill Guerin does with some of the other Team USA allegedly, he probably has already done similar things, scouting wise with Vinny Trocheck. He knows his game pretty well. The other one, just because Judd mentioned it with Columbus, what about Boone Jenner expiring contract? So it is kind of a rental, but it's another captain. He's not as prolific as a scorer, but one, he wins faceoffs. Two, it's not, I think, the top end center that you would, that would break the bank. Like he's probably a 1C on this team, but he's not a 1C on a lot of teams. And I just think, I think Columbus is going to be willing to sell. And there is that prior relationship, maybe not with the current regime that just moved in there, but like the Wild have dealt with the Blue Jackets in the past. So,
how about another one? And this credit to Chris Johnson. I think I saw this yesterday. He tossed it out there, and you mentioned St. Louis. What about Robert Thomas?
Love Robert Thomas.
Right?
Love Robert.
Yeah,
I think
we're
he's
starting now. We're cooking.
I think he's too good, though. I think he is outside the price range. Like I think, super underrated. When you look at how he plays, he impacts the game greatly. Like, I would love that, and I would pay a lot to have Robert Thomas on this team. But it's in division, so you get that tax there too. I don't know.
Oh, he did just get hurt yesterday, I think. Though, he didn't play yesterday.
Okay.
A lower body injury. Just
He'll be fine in April.
But still, yeah. I think we are starting to see the potential or the possibilities too. And you're going to have to jump at some point in time because the bidding. I mean, look, what the Wild's problem ain't unique. Like, you got a lot of teams that are competitive that are going to be looking for centers. So forget the in division tax. There's just going to be a tax because of the bidding. But like, if anything, these last couple of games have given you a really good window into what life is like. And Jessi, I'm with you. I think that Yurov is going to be just fine. I like him a lot, but that's all, but you can't put that on his plate and say, hey, you got to go replace Ecker. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So,
yeah.
And Ryan Hartman has his role. I will say this, in my opinion, and I don't think he's been bad, but in my opinion, when you see him with the Johansson Boldy line, you see exactly why Eriksson Ek is so important. Uh, Johansson, to me in particular, does not look the same with Hartman playing,
Yeah.
which is not surprising.
Right.
But like that line, how good was that line for a really sustained period? And Boldy is still, I mean, he had 87 freaking chances on Monday. But it does not look the same without Eriksson Ek, and I guess that shouldn't come as a surprise.
Well, and even further beyond that, imagine what Kirill Kaprizov will look like with a number one center, a true number one center, right? Like, could you
That's what I
just
like.
like, furthermore, I think we forget that, like, Kirill is still having a good year. I've had a lot of people chirping at Kaprizov so far, especially within the past few weeks. He's still like tied for fifth in the league in point. Like, relax. Like, he's doing just fine. He's being himself. Yes, there are things that he could work on and improve on, but also, again, he doesn't have that center to be there and help him create. I think him and Quinn Hughes are finding a really interesting chemistry and kind of figuring that out with Quinn's entries and all of that. But gosh, like, furthermore, despite whether X in or out, getting Kirill, that guy, ugh, drool.
Oh yeah, well, and in fairness to Eriksson Ek for Kirill is not that guy.
Right.
Like he is to your point. I don't think he's like a true 1C. He's just a hugely important 2C. So but yeah, if you could get a playmaker, and I think if you did that, you'd probably take Zuccarello off that line entirely. Because if you had a center who was a playmaker for Kaprizov, I don't need Mats then trying to be a playmaker for Kaprizov as well. So if you did that, but yeah, it would be, and I think Age and I got a couple of notes about this too about Kirill. I think he's got 3 goals in his past 13 games, which is why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel like he's playing poorly. We're also consumed, rightfully so, with the shiny new toy that is Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
So like we've sort of put Kirill on the shelf, and he's collecting a little bit of dust there, unfortunately, because Quinn is this. Oh my God, I can't believe I've never seen this before. Which, by the way, to go back to 2020, I think it was Kirill's first season. Those are the same things that we were saying about Kirill at the time. But for now, it's like Toy Story. Woody is sort of out right now, and that's Kirill Kaprizov.
Oh, poor Woody.
I
There's
know.
a snake in his boot.
I felt terrible for him. Hey, what did Jessi? What did Jack Hughes? I saw the quotes, but I think that you were there.
Yeah.
If you didn't ask the question yourself, what was Jack Hughes's response to the Wild? And I've never watched games before. Take us through that.
Oh, legendary. Shout out to Jack Hughes. He made time for both Mike Russo and myself post game because obviously we didn't want to talk about the game. We wanted to talk about him and his brother and get a little bit more insight because those of you who are aware or maybe unaware, Jack is much more talkative, has a larger than life personality compared to Quinn, right? Respectfully. So, no, the question basically was, and actually I can pull it up because I don't want to screw this one up because it was very good, but it was also a little like kind of a shot, like strays were getting fired at the Minnesota Wild unintentionally. Like I do believe Jack is very happy for Quinn. I think he did mention, I did follow up and ask him, like, were you as surprised as us then that Minnesota was the place that he was going? And he goes, not really. So it sounds like they did catch wind that Minnesota was interested. And of course, we know that Quinn had to approve it. And he said, once that name kind of got tossed out there, we were like, okay, that could be good. They've got Kaprizov, and I think Jack had mentioned Boldy and Faber as well. So that was very interesting to hear. I'm having a heck of a time. Basically, the question though was, oh, here we go. We got it, guys. We got it. Don't you worry.
There we go.
Technology savvy, Jessi Pierce.
How happy have you been for Quinn and what Minnesota? Because obviously they've been successful since Quinn showed up in Minnesota.
Yep.
And Jack Hughes says they've got some good players. Just from the outside watching, I've had a lot of fun tuning into Minnesota games. I've never watched Minnesota play. I honestly, in my career, I don't think I've ever watched them. So now I'm tuned in and watching all their games, and it's fun to watch. So it was just kind of like, it made you laugh out loud. Like he didn't mean to slight Minnesota, but it was like I joked with you guys on our text thread, like, breaking news: Jack Hughes realizes Minnesota is a state and they have a professional hockey team, because that's what it felt like. And he's far from alone, right? Like Minnesota, it's a flyover state. It's people don't pay attention even with guys like Kirill or the great goaltending they've been getting. So it was just kind of funny for Jack out east, where he's probably following all those teams. I mean, that's the other thing. This is a Western Conference team. He has no reason to watch the Minnesota Wild.
Right. Was his gal here?
No, the hilarious thing about that though. So Tate McRae, here's our little insider.
Thank you. I forgot her name totally.
I get this info from my girl Kirsten over on Bar Down Beauties. She's my entertainment correspondent. He's dating Tate McRae. Has not been confirmed, but they've been cited together. She's been to his games. She's a Calgary girl, right? She's a hockey person.
Hockey
She had formerly dated Columbus Blue Jackets.
Cole Sillinger.
Cole Sillinger. Yep. So that's how hockey fans. I'm proud of you, Age.
Dating a guy in Columbus.
But yeah. And then she sang at the All-Star game, and it was a whole thing.
I remember that.
Yep, she's a fan favorite, or a huge superstar, pop star right now. Taylor Heisey was sitting next to Luke's family, but I always think, and actually Taylor has told me before, her teammates call her Skate McRae because she kind of looks like Tate McRae a little bit. So it was funny that she coincidentally was seated next to them. Tate had also posted something on her Instagram in a jacket, and it just said cold, so everybody speculated that maybe she was there. I do not believe she was in attendance, but I did find it funny that Taylor, because I do think Taylor Heisey, hockey superstar in her own right, looks a lot like Tate, and it was funny, like, oh, they're trying to throw people off. They're trying to do a little fake, so she wasn't here.
All right. The last thing, guys, shout out Dean Evason. Great year last season, in the face of tragedy. The Blue Jackets, I think, took their playoff chase to the final day of the regular season. They didn't get in. Montreal did. But he's your guy, Jessi. So your thoughts on I believe it's 60-year-old Dean Evason being replaced by 70-year-old Rick Bowness, who was retired and on a boat when he decided to take this job.
What an odd swap, too. And I love that everybody brought back up the time that Bones and Evason were going to fight that one Jets. And was he with the Jets or the Stars that time?
That felt like Stars.
Maybe. I don't know, because he did both so quickly, like very succinctly.
I think it was the Jets, yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes me sad, because I love Dean and I want all the good things. And it was another situation where he's a circumstance of the team, and the team just wasn't performing. And it was a tough go for him. And I think based on what I'm seeing from Columbus fans, they all agreed that the assistant coach needed to go. They weren't happy with him for whatever reason. Like, they were like, yeah, get the assistant
we're
out of
firing
there.
Assistants now. Toronto fired their assistant and have gone on like this huge winning streak.
Yeah,
fire the trainer.
They were just like, nope, keep
exactly.
Dean. Because I think Dean does. He has that kind of belovedness about him, right? Like, he's all in on for his guys. You can tell he is there for his guys, for his team. He's a player's first coach. Although I do kind of like Rick Bowness too. Like, there's something just about him that's just kind of lovable as well. So I don't know. It's a shame.
I like how he's coming back, though. It's like, dude, you retired.
How long has
like,
it been, too? It's been a long time. Like 6 years?
His wife was no. It's been like 2 or 3 because his wife was sick, and I think she had some, and so he left the team with the Jets for a while, and then he's like, I'm done. Yeah. But now, you know what? And I hope she's well. That's awesome. But it's like, wow, okay. Hey, before we go, really, part 2, NABC, Jessi, tell me about your favorite bank.
My favorite bank, they made it so easy to switch. I never thought before, you guys, about switching banks. It seemed like a hassle. Like, I don't want to do it. I'm just going to stick with my tried and true. But no, North American Banking Company changed my mind all about that. Couldn't be happier. They've got the online banking tools, the mobile banking tools. And when I need to talk to somebody, pop into one of their 6 Twin Cities location. Mine is out in Roseville. I absolutely love it. No hassle. Simply go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com to learn more, or visit one of those locations, as I mentioned, near you. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. North American Banking Company, ladies and gents.
Spectacular. All right, we will be back on Friday to talk about the Thursday game against the Jets, which is, if not a must win, it's a must play better than they did on Monday against the Devils. For Jessi, for AJ, I am the sports dad, Judd, and we'll talk to you later.